Hi everyone, welcome to the recap series of organic chemistry for class 12. In this video, we'll be discussing the acidic character of alcohols. So this simple equation where ROH is giving alkoxide ion, RO minus and H plus is indicative of the acidic behavior of alcohols because it is releasing an H plus. Now what property of the alcoholic entity makes the alcohol acidic? Basically, it is due to the polar nature of the OH bond. Now, what is this polar nature? So, oxygen being more electronegative than hydrogen has a greater tendency to attract this shared pair towards itself. As a result, the electron density over oxygen increases, giving it a partial negative charge, and over H, the electron density becomes less, giving it a partial positive charge. This acquiring of oppositely natured charges on a given bond is said to be polarity, and the bond is said to be a polar bond. Now, because the electron shifting has taken place to one of the entities, the sharing is not happening symmetrically or equally, and therefore the bond becomes weak. And as soon as the bond becomes weak, the release of H plus is facilitated, and that release of H plus with greater ease accounts for the acidic behavior of alcohols. Now let us discuss let us compare the acidic character of alcohols and water. So your alcohol entity has an alkyl group. Alkyl group is showing plus I effect, and this plus I effect is shown by an arrow where the electrons are moving away from the alkyl group towards oxygen. Plus I effect is an electron releasing or repelling effect. As the electrons shift towards oxygen, the electron density over oxygen increases. Because the electron density increases, it doesn't have that much tendency to attract this shared pair towards itself. It is still very electronegative or more electronegative than hydrogen, still has a tendency to attract this shared pair towards itself, but the intensity with which this oxygen wants to attract this shared pair towards itself is lowered because it has become a little electron rich because of the shifting of the electrons from alkyl group. As a result, the polarity is reduced. What is polarity? Creation of a certain negative charge here and a certain positive charge here, and because the polarity is reduced, the bond is stronger because sharing is a little better because of oxygen not wanting to attract the shared pair towards itself. And if polarity decreases, the bond becomes stronger. If the bond becomes stronger, the release of H plus or the H atom from the OH bond becomes difficult, which will lower the acidic character of alcohols. On the contrary, if you look at the water molecule, it has a similar structure to that of alcohols, but the difference being there is no alkyl group here. Hydrogen atoms are not showing plus I effect. If they are not showing plus I effect, there is no external factor contributing to an increase in electron density over oxygen, and therefore this oxygen atom will have a greater tendency relatively. We are comparing it to the OH bond in alcohols and now with water. So this oxygen, because it didn't have any entity sending electrons to it, it has a greater tendency to attract the shared pair towards itself. The partial charges created here are higher. That means polarity is greater. As soon as polarity is greater, it means shifting of electrons is much stronger in this case as in the other case. Sharing is lesser. If sharing is lesser or polarity is greater, the OH bond becomes weaker, and the release, if the OH bond becomes weaker, the release of the H atom or H ion from the OH bond becomes easier, which results in a greater acidic character for water. So as a conclusion, we may say that alcohols are weaker acids than water. And what is the fundamental reason for this difference in the acidic strength? The presence of the alkyl group and its electron repelling or plus I effect. Thank you, and in the next video we'll be discussing the acidic character of phenols. But remember to repeat, revise and reinforce. God bless you all.